welcome. I thought I would answer a few questions that I get frequently that I thought, well, why not just say it once in a video and then that'll be it. So the first question is, why does EFT work? I don't think anyone knows yet why. We just know it does. For me, it's sort of like a water fountain. You can imagine your veins, the blood in your veins, right? They're like, if you zoom out, they look like little rivers. You can imagine those rivers as sometimes getting clogged and getting bogged up with gunk. Every time that you do EFT, it's like you're flushing out the system. Flush, flush, flush. Now, the thing is that there's so many little rivers. There's so many little streams. If you tap just in general, it'll be like doing one general flush, and it calms down the nervous system, and it works really well. So I'm not knocking it. It's just doing EFT as is at home. You don't need an EFT practitioner. You don't need scripts. You don't need me. You don't need anybody. You just need your fingertips and to know where to tap. That's it. It's a wonderful tool. But if you have a specific issue, tapping generally might not work. It's like you're flushing out the main systems, which is great, very beneficial, but you have so many little vessels that any one of those little vessels can actually be a problem. When you flush things out, it will go around a big blockage, right? The path of least resistance. That brings me to the next question that I have. Why am I needed if people can just go into their bedrooms and they can tap away and feel great? Well, the reason is that I can pinpoint little rivers, I suppose is what you would call them, in the energetic system. I can point those out, and then as I'm pointing those out, because that's what Spirit gives me, we tap. And as we tap, it's like we're hitting the flush button for that little river. And when that little river is flushed out, suddenly things are very different. Things just start to flow. I know for a fact that EFT works really well when you tap on the root of something. If you have a car crash and you know the root cause, EFT is fantastic. If you have CPTSD, as we all know, it's very difficult to pinpoint the root. So what I would get is an emotional signature, or I will get an emotional, or not an emotional, but a thought pattern. Or sometimes it's a past life, sometimes it's ancestral. Now that doesn't mean that just because we do a session, boom, it's going to be fixed. But what happens is that when we do a session, suddenly you're aware of it. Even if we clear out a tiny bit, maybe 20% of what actually needs to be cleared out, that 20% is like light through a door, like underneath a door. Suddenly you know the door is there, right? And before, you were in a dark room with no one and no light, and you didn't even know where the door was. That's the value that I bring, rather than you just tapping on your own, is that I can pinpoint things that need to be healed, and session after session, we push that energy out. And it's really, really interesting to see the transformations that happen with my clients. It's mind-blowing, actually. What is shadow work, and can you get stuck in it? This is a common fear that I get a lot from clients. I don't want to go there. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to feel it. But in EFT, that's the opposite of what you need to do. The whole idea of EFT is you're pressing the flush button. EFT is incredibly impactful when you go to the stinkiest, gunkiest, grossest trauma that you have, and you start hitting the flush button. Like, wow, it's unclogging the toilet. Suddenly there's no stench, and you can breathe clean air not to be graphic, but it's a little bit like that. Trauma, when it's stuck in the body, is gross. It's sticky energy, and it feels good to get rid of it. There's no longer this obsession with positivity, because you don't need to be obsessed with it. Naturally, having let go of that gunk, you're positive. You don't have to focus on anything. You just are. You are positive. So no, you will not get stuck in it. However, there is a caveat. You're probably not going to get through a huge block in one session. This is true healing. This isn't taking Prozac. This is deep, true, long-lasting, profound change that is happening within. So that means that you have to go slowly with it. You have to go step by step with it. And you cannot just say, okay, like, I'm going to do a session and I want to be healed after. It doesn't work like that. We all know this is real life, and these are real traumas. It may happen for the odd person, but the rule is generally that this is long-term work, and it requires dedication, it requires focus, and it requires courage, frankly, because you're going really deep into wounds and you're coming out the other side. I think I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching this video if you did, and stay tuned for other content that I will be releasing. Take care.